Well, we said that we would find out what happens when Hope for Women goes live, and we meant it literally because it's the first time we're technically meeting each other. It's the first time we're going live. Um, I have to share with you, I had a whole crisis of hope in the middle of the night last night.
Mm,
So it'll be interesting to talk about that. But when Angelia and Tanya, thought of us going live during this time,
right.
I'm affectionately calling it the Corona Challenge. Um, but when we decided to go live, we figured that we would just, since me and you needed to get to know each other anyway, we would just do it live, just kick the first one
Right.
that way. So I think today we can talk about, you know, things from both of our perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Check in with how our audience is doing,
Right.
and try somehow to muster up some hope in this hopeless situation. The
Mm-hmm.
bigger context was simply that we just want to be able to look people in the eye and say, hey, we don't pretend to have the answers, but what we have is community, and we want to do it together and meet up every Wednesday, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 Central, 7 Pacific. I have a girlfriend in Australia. It's tomorrow there. Wherever you are in the world, just hang out with us and we'll do this together. So that's the idea.
Right. Love it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What did Angelia tell you? What was your context of what you?
I haven't even, it was just that group text. I mean, it was her initially reaching out to me. And like I said, usually when she asked me to, be a part of something, I'm always like, yes, of course.
Yes,
Um,
sister.
yes, sister, just because of, what she represents and what she stands for. And she's just a good woman. So, I
Yeah.
mean, we're all in this. I woke up and my husband was like, this feels like Groundhog Day. Like every day I don't, the weekend comes, I'm like, this is the first time where the weekend literally feels like it's not an escape anymore.
It's such a beautiful thing. Our founder of Hope for Women magazine, her new book that she recently launched. Yes, sisters, surrounding yourself with women who affirm, encourage, and challenge you. If
Love
that
it.
doesn't say it all,
Hmm.
uh, we definitely said yes to the call. Uh, Angelia White and Tanya Sherrill, editor in chief, asked us to do the honors of really facilitating Hope for Women for all of us, for all the editors and contributors and all. Um, and there's really three things that we're focused on right now during this Corona challenge. And it is that the fear that we're all facing and dealing with and coping with, and the uncertainty that we're all struggling with, and then the grief.
Right.
And I was sharing with you as we were chatting before we went live that, I got sort of stricken with the grief that a lot of my friends on social media are going through. But we wanted to be authentic. So April and I are really just now seeing each other face to face. We figured while we got to know each other, we would also just share with you.
I think anything that we can do, excuse me, to bring some encouragement, and I need it. I think we all, those people who are natural encouragers,
Yeah,
we need to be encouraged because this is something that is unprecedented. We are all suffering on a human level.
yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're rich, if you're poor, if you're black, if you're white.
Yeah.
So we're all in this together.
And I was happy that I was going to be co-hosting with you. I know now. How old are your kids? You have one or two, or?
I have two. So I have two girls. My eldest is 7, and my youngest, she just turned 3 like 3 days ago.
Yeah. So like you said, it's a human issue, and it's all races, all cultures.
Right.
all faiths. I always say, you know, I'm a coach, and so I coach people of faith and no faith.
Right.
um, and it's a, you know, it's universal. It's people who are moms. It's people who are, you know, CEOs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a daughter, she's in her 20s. So you have children that are younger. So we can talk about it from that perspective. That's why I was excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let's kick it off with this. I think one of the things that I did to do my homework to learn about you, I told you I watched your TEDx that you did. Um, and when I Googled you, I was like, oh my gosh, she was in so many different things. I want to go like watch all your things that you were that you did as an actor. But one of the things I did was looked at your TEDx, and I was so moved by you sharing openly your postpartum depression after the birth. That was it, your first child?
My first one, yes. Mm-hmm.
And you said something to me profound. Like I said, I'm a coach, a business and a life coach. To become a coach, though, I studied at the master's level counseling. It was actually a Christian counseling program, and it was a clinical program. And so was a therapist for 2 years in a clinic, and so I value therapy so much, you know, and I
Right.
studied it because I still have tears in my eyes from our prayer. I value it so much, and it's the reason I did that was so that I can, when I coach someone, I can assess where you're at. I can assess if you need therapy and then come back to me, or if you need therapy and you can do coaching at the same time, or, you know, if you can just straight up get into coaching where we really are focused on, you know, moving forward and not so much looking back at some of the root causes of any depression or anxiety or, you know, things like that. But when you said that, when you did finally get at, you know, get to talk to a therapist and they asked you how you're feeling,
Mm.
whew,
Mm-hmm.
even that sentence like gets the, and you said it was really the jolt that you needed. Talk a little bit about that.
Right. I think that was such a defining moment in my turning of, finally getting out of a mental space in the postpartum. So when a woman has a baby, before the woman has the baby, it's all about the woman. Then once the baby comes, it's as if the mother doesn't exist anymore. And people just don't really check up on the mother. Because, everyone comes, they want to see the baby, it's all about the baby. And you're just like, wow, no one is asking me, like really asking me, am I okay? How are you feeling? So when she asked that question, I felt like that was the first time where I felt in a safe space to really express my feelings.
Yeah.
And as you saw in the video, it was that real. It was just like, I'm angry, I'm pissed off. Um, no one told me that it would be this hard. No one prepared me. I feel bamboozled in the sense of like, gosh, Hollywood painted parenting a whole other way. And
Yeah.
so I really feel, especially in this time, it's funny because while I was taking a shower and just meditating, I'm thinking about all the mothers that are home right now that are going through postpartum, but in this era, in this season, where you can't leave the house, where you can't, I can't even imagine the amount of mental health issues that are going on just with mothers alone, right? And also fathers,
Yeah.
but just for moms. And so not being able to go out, not being able to go see a therapist because listen, I'm here with my daughters and I have, my kids are well behaved, but
Yeah.
I I think I left my house like 2 days ago of like, I'm gonna go walk by myself. And where I live is remote, like there isn't anyone really around us. So we're isolated. But
Yeah.
I was like, I need to be alone. I need to be alone because I'm gonna lose my mind.
And you know what? I just want to pause for a minute because you said so much, the safe space. You
Mhm.
weren't prepared. Nobody told you it was going to be like this. I mean, that's such a relatable state that we're in right now. And when
Right.
you said that the therapist asked you, how are you feeling?
Mhm.
That's what really opened it up. And so, what we want to do today is open it up to the audience, to you all, and say, how are you feeling?
Mhm.
And I can say from my perspective, I don't have small children, but what the perspective that I bring is that I have a bunch of babies, and the babies are all of these businesses and people that I coach and I support. And it's broken my heart to watch the leaders of these small businesses. I come from corporate, I used to work in corporate America, and they have structures and systems and processes for these types of things. I mean, no one is
Right.
really prepared, but you have a whole army of people that come together to figure it out. And um, I represent smaller businesses that are literally trying to fumble and put this together,
Right.
and to have to do this buzzword called furlough. It's not layoff, but they're letting people go for a while they are in stay-at-home mode. And then I have some people contacting me saying, hey, help me, I'm looking for a new job, my company let me go. And I'm like, did they let you go, or did they just have you be at home? They're not sure. So it's just this uncertainty going on. And then my own self worrying because I'm a contractor, and when I'm not getting paid by them, then what do I do? Because I'm not sure this supposedly $1 trillion deal is going to help me and cover me.
Right. Yeah,
So it's scary,
it is. It's one of those things where you are you you have to just count the blessings that you do have. And it really is like, man, what am I grateful for? What can I control? I've been seeing, especially on social media and Instagram, it was like everyone is selling something or workshop, and I think that's great. Like everyone's going virtual and trying to figure things out. But there is also like this underlying pressure that if you don't do what everybody is doing, you feel sort of left out. And I started like buying into that, and I was like, you know what, I have to stay focused and healthy. Hopefully I can create something soon. If not,
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like I'm falling by the waistline because I haven't fully created my curriculum and sold it, and having Zoom, because I'm still trying to just be present for my kids, just be present at home as a wife and as a mother, and saying, I don't have any answers for this. I think the shock initially sort of felt like 9/11 for me,
Yes.
because I was in the city that day. I was part of all of that, in the sense of like, I felt the hysteria, um and the way the world changed. Like, New York changed in a second, and I think this world has changed in a second.
Since I started this, or since
Hmm.
the world ran and got into this crisis, I was in adrenaline pumping mode, April, literally. I told you of course, I got my household set up, and we made our grocery list, and we searched for toilet paper and, getting the food and everything we needed. So I took care of my family. We took care of the businesses that I support, got all team members situated, got them at home, talked to my other clients, told everybody to man up, woman up. You got to be a leader. I was just talking to one guy, he was working from home. He's a VP of a company. And I was like, this is not the time to slack. Get it together. I mean, I've been tough love with leaders, um, started another angle of my business, been helping people give birth to businesses. I mean, me and my crew, we've been like in adrenaline pumping mode. Like, yes, we're going to create different things and be enterprising and so I must say I'm very proud of us because we have been um, powerhouses. I'm going to
Hmm.
just pat myself on the back and say I have been a powerhouse. Hadn't shed a tear, hadn't really, I mean, it was that I put up a post that was talking about you're either facing it, you're either fighting it, you're either flighting it, or you're freezing. And I was in total fight. Facing and fight is what I would say. And then last night happened.
Mm.
I was going to shut down and try to get some sleep and watch Madam C.J. Walker finally, because I hadn't got to see the series. I think it's on Netflix. I've got Amazon, my Spectrum, and Netflix all going, so I never know which on what. Even though I haven't watched any of it, I want to, right? And I was going to watch Madam C.J. Walker, and then I got on social media for a moment just to post. I was going to send you an email. But
Right.
this is how it works, right? You guys, you get on email, you accidentally get on your social media, and then you get in your feed. And all of a sudden it hit me. I told you I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and what I saw was, and it's been all around us, all around the world. In New York, I mean, guys, you guys are getting hit like in the quadruples.
Yeah.
And
We are considered a major disaster.
right. And I used to be there, so I've got tons of friends there, but all of my Facebook friends are from Michigan and Detroit, just about.
Right.
And I must honestly say, in every fifth feed was somebody had lost someone. They had died.
Wow.
Aunts, best friends, fraternity brothers, sisters, mentors. And I just said, it hit me. So if I was going to answer the question, how am I feeling? I feel lost and found. That's going to be my word. I'm going to ask you what your word is in a minute, and we'll pose that. How are you feeling? Even though that's not a feeling, and I teach classes on feelings, I'm going to say I was feeling lost and found in regards to hope.
Right.
So it's a kind of a long post, but I'm just going to read it. We got time. I'm going to read my post. In a few hours, I go live with a beautiful, talented co-host and a brand I could only have dreamed of representing. Hope for women. Yet tonight, for the first time, I really feel the impact of COVID-19. Until now, I called it CV-19. I didn't even give it the dignity of a name. Kind of like me and my friends do when we first start dating a guy. We call them coffee shop guy or, cute shoe man. Like we don't give them a name because they don't deserve one yet. Things have been scary in my world, physically and financially, but now this virus has spread to where I'm from, Detroit. And my Facebook friends are sharing the loss of countless loved ones in my newsfeed. The novel coronavirus, COVID-19, just got real. One thing I read recently inspired me. Without despair, there is no hope. Without despair, there is no hope. Despair, also known as hopelessness, to me, is like a never-ending hole you fall into and spiral continually. For me, like you, April, it is my faith that is the substance that fills up my holes, and I always climb out better than I was when I went in. It's like when my mother passed, and I felt like an orphan. A few years later, I was comforted when she showed up and protected me and my daughter during a 2 a.m. home invasion in Brooklyn. My despair was derailed by my confirmation of her new job as an angel in the army of the Lord. Right now, I can feel the army of angels flying around my newsfeed. They are urging each of us to do what we know to do in our hearts to stay healthy and connected to one another in love. I can feel my faith rising as I crawl out of the hole called hopeless. I am ready to fight the good fight, but first I will get a little sleep. So It was literally in that post that I lost hope, found hope. And, I know it's too soon for those that have grief to just really accept that their loved ones are angels in the army of the Lord, but it's like I felt them, like literally. Like
Mm-hmm.
one example is people tell you to take vitamin C, and I'm not giving medical advice, but they say it's a difference between calcium ascorbate and ascorbic acid. And it's like, soon as I started feeling the army of the angels in the news feed, I read an article that told me about the difference, and I ran and looked at my vitamin C. Like I could hear them saying, check the back of your label, make sure you also have ascorbic acid. I know it's acidic, but it's also the thing that doesn't. I'm like, oh my God, some of my vitamin C doesn't have it, but I could feel the army of the angels like guiding me,
Right.
like what to take and what not to take and how to stay healthy. So this is what I feel like. I feel like we're the enemy just didn't realize that every time you take a life, they become an angel, and those angels are going to help us, and that is how we're going to beat this. That's how we're going to have hope.
Mm. Amen. Amen. It's, yeah, I think grief is real. And I think we need to acknowledge that there are people who they're grieving right now because this is something, when it happens, I lost my mom 3 years ago as well. So I understand what grief is like from just that level of pain. But I also know that there is hope on the other side,
Yeah.
right? There's something powerful when we can say, wow, even in all this, the storms and all this, there were little buckets of, you hear these little miracle stories. And that's what I choose to hold on to when I hear miracle stories of
Yeah, there you go.
people who, were older and they were able to remain healthy. Those are the stories that I think need to be heard more, because I stopped watching the news. I probably watch it once a day,
Yeah.
because I was being consumed by so much that it was truly affecting. Like, okay, well, you don't know what to believe, you don't know what to do, and so when I get to hear a hope story, I hang on to that,
Yeah.
because those are the ones that get you through days that feel like Groundhog Day, or like, do I even, what's the point of like doing anything right now? But it's still important to remain productive, because this too shall pass. We just don't know when. We haven't seen the severity just yet. We're in the eye of the storm, and it's important for people to know that we are in the eye of the storm.
Here's a few people who made a few comments here. We have Evelyn Joy said, yes, miracle story, and see happy moments is helping me. So she was commenting on your hope.
Mm-hmm.
She said she lost her mom in 2018 and it was painful. Um, and Evelyn, what I would say to that is there is one thing about those of us that have had devastation in our lives. It is similar to us having the antibodies of the coronavirus in us. Um, People are starting to say if you've been exposed and yet you didn't have any, once again, not medical advice, but if you've been exposed and you haven't had any symptoms, you're asymptomatic, it could mean that you have the antibodies in you. So when you go out, you'll be more resistant. The same thing with Evelyn, who lost her mom in 2018, and it was painful. She says she's got the antibodies in her that will help her to cope with this and be even more resilient.
Mm.
Um, and then Pat says, my encouragement for others is to focus on now. That's all we have is now. Today, be grateful that you have breath now. Love your family now. If you have food, utilities, tomorrow is not guaranteed. Enjoy the moment. Share the love with everyone. Angelia says people need to practice social distancing. She was in CVS and everybody was just all over each other. And
Right.
uh, yeah, so
And I believe a lot of people are practicing it. I truly, but then I don't understand why some other people are not. And this is frustrating. I think that is when I go outside into the world and I see everyone just living as if there is like, you know, a normal. um you want to just scream.
So what's your word for how you're feeling? I said mine was lost and found. What's yours?
I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. That's I think there's no other word that can describe what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Some days more, some days less, but definitely just and suffocation. So two words.
Deuces. We'll have two words then.
Overwhelmed. I remember just 2 days ago I texted a friend of mine who I can be extremely transparent with,
Yeah.
and I was like, I feel like I'm suffocating. And I think women like ourselves being that light for other women, saying, you're not alone. If you feel overwhelmed, you are not alone. And it is okay if you wake up and you don't get out of your pajamas and
Yes.
you're feeling down. It's okay. Just try not to stay there too long. So simple things, right? So what can we do in times like this? Take a shower. Taking the simple girl, put some makeup on, act like you about to go somewhere, throw on some red lipstick, do your
Yeah.
eyebrows, just do your best to feel some type of normal.
Here's the message that we want to give. I'm just going to take 30 seconds and say this. I used to be a career coach when in the early 90s when everybody was getting laid off. And what we did was we were like the first responders, and we would go out when CEOs and vice presidents and well-paid people were getting laid off from their jobs and snot was coming out their nose. In April, we went and we said, look, I know you're in just devastation right now and you just had a blow and you don't even know what to do. What we want you to do is just show up to the meeting that we're going to have. And
Right.
so we're saying to you all, just show up every Wednesday with us.
I truly believe that the more that you all promote this and put it out there, that more and more women will come together, and make this their hour of just being restored and being full of hope and just hearing some encouragement. So, yes, we will get through this.
Yeah.
I've been through many things, and it really is just having a resilient spirit and saying,
Yeah.
this is what it is, but I won't stop.
Yes.
Just be safe. God bless everyone.
God bless
Thank you
everyone.
once again for
Thank
hosting
you.
this. Thank you, Hope Magazine.
Thank
And
you.
I pray just blessings for everyone, and just everyone, please remain safe.